The fourth idea, the fourth thing to share here is, are there any topics you would like for October's segment? Now, this is actually one we're going to talk about now here, with suggestions we have already planned, but this is where I'd love to have people on Twitter, if they get this question come up to them, please give us a shout out. And again, come by and join us on this webinar if you are nearby. We're happy to have you too, because we want to hear your thoughts too. We have some plans, like I said, but they're not set in stone. I think, again, with our nature of how we work as a team, we're quite relaxed, we're quite flexible, and the word's agile in computer programming. It's an agile neighborhood. So we do small things which can change quickly, so that we can work on other small things that can, again, change quickly. So for ideas, I have a list of things we're planning for our October event, but do either you, Tim or Rebecca, do you have ideas just now you'd like to have shared for our next event? I know you had a meeting. I missed.
I forgot the topics that we came up with.
Okay.
Me too.
One thing I do remember, which is very important to me, and it's important to anyone I talk to and invite to our events. Everybody's first question is there, again, a lot of people having a lot of theories about education and talking about a lot of stuff I can just Google and read about. I want specific solutions. I want specific ideas that I can use on Monday. So that's what my goal with this is, to provide, if there's one step that can change the dynamics in the classroom for the better, I hope we are providing that to someone. One of the things is just Zoom as a tool, which was new to me. We always used Skype before, but just to see that it's this easy to use Zoom as a tool and connect people internationally. There's an already one useful tip for someone that was thinking about connecting with another classroom somewhere out there. But then all the other topics, I would love to hear suggestions from other people. I remember that we came up with really great topics, but you always rephrase them so they sound even smarter, Michael. So you can find them and read them out loud. But whatever it is, I hope it's going to be a lot of practical stuff that, someone tried and it worked, and give it a try in different environments and see how it works and get back to us.
Okay, I found them. What we talked
I
about.
got them too. I just thought it'd be nice to have just an ad hoc thing too. I can go through this, which is fine, but I'm in the same sheet as you two. There we go. Yay. Well, I think that what I've heard this year has been a huge movement. I guess it's a movement that's been going a lot, is sustainable development goals. The sustainable development goals for developing countries, for industrialized countries, for developed countries. I think it's for everyone. This is something that we can't ignore. I think that you could say in the past, the focus has been so much more on the key pillars of education, reading, writing, arithmetic. I think, though, that that's all fine and good for a society that are going to be working in factories and are going to do repetitive things over and over again. We need to have young people who are thinking more and who are thinking about their thinking more. And these ideas that are sustainable development goals, that requires a lot of thought, a lot of critical thinking regarding what's gone wrong in the past and how could I suggest something different that would be better. So that's one biggie that I have. And for a lot of different countries too, they have a lot of groups promoting these social sustainable development goals. They have lessons on them. They have topics on them. They have groups and teachers who are working together to embed this idea of sustainable development goals within the school. So that's what I would say. I'd like to learn more about how it's worked for different schools. And two, I'd like to, as Vlatko was saying, what ideas have you put in place that were successful, and why do you think that they were? What was your roadmap? What was your instruction manual that you used that had such success for you?
I think one of the things that, as we were going through our, in our last planning meeting, kind of brainstorming ideas for these sessions for Connected Educator Appreciation Day, the one thing that kind of hit me was all of them, might focus on the specific, how-tos, right? The methods of getting to a certain place. But the one thing that we all need to understand is how we actually change ourselves and our mindset to be able to be open to that change. And so I think overcoming these obstacles that we have to changing how we go about what we do and the impact that we can create all starts with ourselves and how we learn to embrace that fear in a healthy way so that we can use it as an advantage. And I think that's going to be one of these sessions, for me personally, that I think is kind of the foundation for any change that you want to make, whether it be in the classroom or in your life, is learning to, how you change your relationship with fear to make it possible.
I have to apologize because this meeting that happened last week with the team leaders here, I missed it, and I feel really bad, and I'm going to keep feeling bad about it for a while because I missed it. But there's a whole lot of ideas that have come up from the chat that was there that I brought together, did my best to bring together to make them session titles. I'll go through them now, and this is where I think that if you are listening with us just now and you think, whoa, I'm doing that at school now, I want part of that, we want you to be part of that too. So I'm going to, in a tweet just now after I go through these ideas here, as well as the one that Tim talked of, which was overcoming obstacles to changing practice or overcoming fear to changing practice. And my idea of sustainable development goals, I'll go through the rest of the other 6 that have been scoped out and planned-ish. And again, if this is something you think, this is for me, please get in touch. One of the ideas we have is diversity and inclusion. And that, I think, is these words being used almost to their death and almost by the wrong people for the wrong reasons. So what does that mean to you, diversity and inclusion? How can we promote that without ostracizing others who don't have a need for these buzzwords? I say that they are buzzwords, but they are important. I'm not saying that they're not important to promote and to really talk about, but sometimes they're overused and in the wrong way to get more people to listen to what you're saying. One idea is working with new people or building a team. And I mean, we're pretty good at that. Us 4 here with Cassie, who's off to the side. We know what that's about, but again, what we'd like to know is if you are in a bigger organization, you have someone who's joining your team, how do you welcome that person? That sort of idea. How do you make your small team bigger? How do you make your small team as good in terms of quality relationships as you do a bigger team when it grows? One is stepping outside the school system. This is an idea that a lot of teachers are these days doing with websites like Teachers Pay Teachers, with websites like even the TES in the UK, Times Education Supplement, where they have use salary resources. You can sell them on eBay now, and all these ideas for writing and for editing. The publishing companies will take your time, and they will pay you by question. They'll pay you by the hour for you writing books for them. Although they'll take the credit, which is fine because you've entered a contract. But it's that, again, stepping outside. It's that first step. How do you do that? Where do you begin? One idea which is very related to that was writing for education, creating content or telling your story. And that links back to one of the questions we had here. How do you organize a Connected Educator event? What is it you have to have in place for yourself before you take that first step? How do you feel about the worries that can come along with it, the obstacles that come along with that? You can see likely so far, a lot of these things are really intertwined. And although the primary focus might be different, you'll likely talk of a different, you'll likely over talk a number of the shared ideas in these sessions. Another idea is connecting with podcasts. And we put sharing as caring in italics there to say this is what we mean is not advertising a product, not necessarily advertising even well views. It's just experiences you've had and impacts that they've had, and how that sharing of that idea for someone else who hasn't gone through that might learn and grow from those ideas. And the last idea for a session we have is the human behind the educator, the consultant in you. And that one there from the meeting that I had talking about really came to me as being, don't be afraid to share. The chances are that, again, in the classroom you're working with now, you have 30 kids, or you have more than 30 kids, you have less than 30 kids you're working with. You know these 30 kids pretty well. And you know that the work you're doing with them is for their best interest and for what you know to do best for them. Talk about that idea, because no one else will. Talk about the growth you've seen. Talk about the challenges you've met, overcome, and how working with the students enabled that, or even talk about how you haven't yet. Because even sharing that difficulty there, you'll learn from that too. So it's this idea again about we're all people, we're all individuals, we're all human. Becoming part of a team is a way to improve upon ourselves. Sharing our successes as well as our failures, they both allow us to grow. They both also allow others to grow because they'll see what you have done, where you went, perhaps where you went wrong, where you went right, and they will learn from that. So these 8 idea sessions are there. If they resonate with you, we'd love to hear from you too. And as Vladka says, there's a whole bunch of ways to connect with us. One being a website, which isn't ready yet, but it'll be there soon.